The Shroud of Turin, housed in the Cathedral of St. John the Baptist in Turin, Italy, is perhaps one of the most studied and controversial religious artifacts in the world. This ancient linen cloth bears a faint, mysterious image of a man who appears to have suffered physical trauma consistent with crucifixion, leading many to believe it is the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. Despite extensive scientific analysis, the origins of the shroud and the method by which the image was created remain unsolved, making it an enduring symbol of faith and mystery. The documented history of the shroud begins in the 14th century, when it appeared in the possession of a French knight, Geoffroy de Charny, who displayed it in a church in Lirey, France. The shroud quickly attracted attention and veneration, but also skepticism and controversy regarding its authenticity. It was moved to Turin in 1578, where it has remained ever since. Earlier references to cloths with miraculous images, such as the image of Edessa or of Mandalorian, have led some to speculate that the Shroud of Turin could be the same relic under different names, thus pushing the origins back to early Christianity. However, these connections were speculative and lack definitive evidence. The image on the shroud is enigmatic and unique. It shows the front and the back of a man lying in repose with hands crossed over the groin. The man appears to have suffered a series of injuries consistent with crucifixion. There were wounds on the wrists and feet. Nail marks are visible, suggesting he was crucified in a manner described in the Gospel. His back is covered with marks consistent with severe flogging inflicted by a Roman flagrum. Puncture wounds around the scalp suggest a crown of thorns was placed on his head. A wound in his side, which could be from a spear, aligns with the biblical account of Jesus' death. The image itself is faint and appears as a negative, becoming much clearer when photographed. This was first discovered in 1898 by Secondo Pia, whose photographic negatives reveal details not visible to the naked eye. The shroud has been subjected to numerous scientific examinations, yielding a wealth of data, but no definitive conclusions about its origins or the nature of the image. In 1988, samples were taken from the shroud and subjected to radiocarbon dating in laboratories in Zurich, Oxford, and Tuscan. The results indicated a date range of 1260 to 1390 AD, suggesting the shroud was a medieval creation. However, critics argue that the sample may have been contaminated or taken from a section that was repaired in the Middle Ages, not from the original cloth. Studies of pollen grains trapped in the fibers of the shroud have identified plants native to the Middle East, particularly around Jerusalem, suggesting the shroud could have originated there. The weave pattern, the rare herringbone twill, has also been cited as consistent with 1st century cloth. Traces of human blood have been found on the shroud, specifically of the AB blood type, which is relatively rare but more common in the Middle East. These findings support a hypothesis that the shroud was used to wrap a crucified man. However, the degradation and contamination over centuries make definitive conclusions difficult. Various theories have been proposed to explain how the image was formed. Hypotheses range from natural chemical reactions to artistic techniques to more exotic ideas such as a burst of radiation at the moment of resurrection. Despite numerous experiments, no one has successfully replicated the shroud's image under conditions that align with all its known characteristics. The authenticity of the Shroud of Turin remains subject to fierce debate. Radiocarbon dating results have led many to conclude that the shroud is a clever medieval forgery created to attract pilgrims and veneration. Proponents of this theory suggest it could have been made using artistic techniques or early photographic methods. Many believers argue that the shroud is indeed the burial cloth of Jesus, pointing to the detailed anatomical and pathological accuracy of the wounds, the presence of the Middle Eastern pollen, and the unique characteristics of the image as evidence of its authenticity. Some researchers propose the shroud is created by natural phenomena that we do not yet fully understand, potentially involving complex chemical reactions. Others suggest it may have been a burial cloth of a crucified man, but not necessarily Jesus. Regardless of its origins, the Shroud of Turin holds immense religious and cultural significance. For many Christians, it is a tangible connection to the Passion of Christ, a powerful symbol of faith, suffering, and redemption. It has inspired countless works of art, literature, and devotion. The Catholic Church has not officially declared the shroud to be an authentic burial cloth of Jesus, but it encourages veneration of the shroud as an icon of Christ's suffering. Popes have visited and prayed before the shroud, reinforcing its importance to the Catholic tradition. Periodic expeditions of the shroud attract millions of pilgrims to the Turin, where they come to pray, reflect, and seek spiritual solace. The shroud's enduring mystery continues to captivate the imagination, making it a profound subject of contemplation for both believers and skeptics alike. Its study, straddling the realms of faith and science, remains one of the most compelling ongoing quests for understanding in the modern era.